No, we can't get away from the unicorn though. Oh, we like chop suey.
Rightio, guys. Welcome back to Court 1 on day 6 of the 4th CMAS Age Group Underwater Hockey World Championships here, facing off Colombia Under-19 women versus Canada Under-19 women. I do believe there's a little bit of a split in the seedings between these two countries there, Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. Colombia at 4th and Canada at 7th at the moment, but at day 6, anything can happen. We've already called a couple of games this morning where, you know, the teams that are seeded below the other team have come back and actually butted heads and come out on top. So we're away. Canada go. What have we got? Canada in white, is it?
No, in black.
No, in black.
Colombia
okay.
in white.
All right.
So you can see the play has started. Both teams meet each other in the middle, and then the play quickly goes out to that far side. Neither team really asserting any kind of specific possessive dominance on the other. At present, it is a bit of a tit-for-tat possession love fest down there at the moment, Nat.
Yeah. Now, Colombia have another game. These girls will, with the double round robin, most likely will have a couple of games today. So Colombia have another game. Not sure about Canada, but I'm sure they will. And in prep for the finals starting tomorrow. 3-day campaign for the finals, Stu. And with the 7 teams that we've got playing, how's the finals going to work for them, Stu? Are they going to do like a 6 versus 7 to work out who plays first? I'm not sure. I think that's how the boys are doing it.
Yeah, the under-19 boys are definitely doing that with 9 teams in their division, 9 versus 8, and then the winner of that plays the first seeded team. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the way that they play the under-19 girls as well, given that they've got an odd number of teams in this division. As you can see, the Colombians regaining advantage on that far side, going for a little bit of a drive, but quickly met by the Canadian defenders, and they drive that puck out.
Oh, a bit of heart pumping
back
there by the ref.
Yeah, a little bit of a Heimlich manoeuvre type infringement as the Colombian ladies get pushed back. And the Canadians will get a free puck on their defensive far side there, Nat.
Yeah, excellent. If you're watching the stream at the moment, which we hope you are because it's a fantastic setup we've got here, put in some live chat to us, talk to us, tell us what you're thinking, and we can chat back to you. So Colombia having a bit of a drive, keeping good possession as they always do, wearing their Nagi fins, which are super manoeuvrable and nifty in the water.
In the water, and also very good for the reverse penguin walk to the sin bin. If those of you out there that like to get put in the sin bin more often than not, you can definitely have a lot of grace if you're wearing a pair of those Najade fins there, Nat.
Yeah, look, you could actually probably trot those out for any of you walking around the pool deck because they're nice and compact. You can walk sideways, forwards and backwards without tripping over. And I might give that a bit of a turn once around the pool deck if I might offer a challenge, and if the challengers can rise to the challenge, I might pop those fins on and do a lap of honour.
Sounds like a good initiative to me then. As the referees given infringement against the Canadians here, and for the Colombians, you can see the Canadians just got caught dicing the vegetables in that one. So a little bit of a chopping foul. And the Colombians are pressing their advantage straight down the centre channel here, Nat, putting the Canadians under a lot of pressure.
But what a lot of composure from that Canadian player there in defence, and did a full sweeping curl right on the goal tray. And I think she actually swept it like sweeping the broom across the front of the tray and out the other side.
Yeah, it was a nice amount of stick candy going on in there as the Colombians re-attack that left-hand side of the goal tray. It is confirmed it is going to be a goal. So the Colombians are getting the first goal. I do believe that's number 11, I think.
Yeah, no, 6. It's a 7, you're thinking? There's a 5 and a 2 there.
One ref went a fist and a 1, and the other one went 7. So there's like a fist and a 1.
I'd go with you. I'd go with
11. So
11.
number 11 for Colombia, and that is Michelle Herrera. So well done, Michelle, for scoring goal number 1.
And those refs, they raised the flags. They put the posts up, 2 posts through the goals. If we were playing AFL, it would have been 6 points, but it's not. So a goal to Colombia, and they're on the scoreboard now. And the goose egg. Do you know what the goose egg is?
No.
Well, the goose egg is this big 0 you can see there, and the Canadians will want to get that goose egg hatched and have a number 1 pop on out, I'm sure.
Yeah, so literally want to have, yeah, that's right. As you said, they want that goose to hatch. They want that little goose to come out of that egg, and and start forming some shape there, Nat.
Absolutely. So another close game this morning. What are we up to? Look, God, the time flies when you're having fun, Stu. I got in here late this morning, but we're already up to game 3 for the day, out of 3, 6, 9, 12, about 12, 13 games today. Yesterday was a huge day, Stu. We had 14 games in 2 courts, so 28 games, 56 teams. If you times that by 10, we had 560 bodies in the water, which would probably explain what happened this morning when you got to the pool, Stu. Was there a little bit of water clarity problem, or did they clean it up really nicely, bang a few cameras around? What was it like when you got here this morning?
Actually, I think the clarity was pretty good, but what happened was the sun was coming in the windows, so on that court number 2, the sun was coming through just in a little gap in the clouds. It's actually a little bit of a drizzly day here in Tassie, and it was shining on this near side part of the court, so it was making it hard for us to actually see the players for the first sort of 15 minutes in court 2. But you can see here the clarity's pretty good now this morning, so even though
excellent, Steve.
Even though there was 560 bodies in the water yesterday, amazingly the clarity is staying very good. As you can see, we can see all the way over the other side of the far side of the court. Those cameras
he's making a phone call there, that ref. Just doing a bit of a dial.
Yeah, a little bit of an advantage being played.
Calling an advantage, dialing the phone.
You can see the Canadians doing a good amount of defence, soaking up a lot of attacking pressure that the Colombians are putting them under as the Colombians bring it out into the middle of the channel, then recycle a reverse curl. They're quickly met there by the Canadian defender, and they flick it on a nice little 45, sort of drawing close to the goal tray, back into the centre channel, and it's a big drive, and there it goes into the tray. So I think that's going to be goal number 2 there for
No, the refs are waving to their parents and saying g'day, and that means that we've got stroking the unicorn there. That ref, I think he just called a bit of an unsportsmanlike behaviour. We've got making the big O, and it's a ref's timeout. Oh, and we've got a Heimlich manoeuvre as well. What's going on, Stu?
So those of you at home that are really confused with what we're saying at the moment, the obstruction call is the Heimlich manoeuvre. The dangerous flick is the stroking the unicorn. Dicing the vegetables is a stick foul. And basically all those fouls just got called one after the other by the refs there as they threw out a Colombian lady for a dangerous flick, a.k.a. stroking the uniform. But it looks to me like there was also another foul by the Canadians. So it's going to be, I believe, well, the referees are still having a refs conference. So we'll wait and see what the refs call. But a whole bunch of manoeuvres getting thrown around by the refs just there, Nat.
Yeah, it's a sweet and sour combination here. It's all happening. It's confusing. There are just, contradictions happening. You did say it was a bit rainy this morning, Stu. It's also a bit spicy outside today. There's a chill in the air, a bit of chilly stuff happening out there. Hopefully the sun stays out and the clouds stay away, because I think there was some snow in the Highlands as well. So these players will all be rugged up in their puff attire.
Very true. Do like a good puff going around the pool deck. Unfortunately, once you get in the aquatic centre, it's quite hard to wear a puff without doing a fair bit of sweating. As you can see, number 6, Valentina Zapata from Colombia, getting 2 minutes in the sin bin for a dangerous flick. It is going to be advantage puck for Colombia by the looks of it. So as we see this ref's timeout, just ticking over towards a minute and a half, the Colombians coming up to reset. The Canadian ladies already in their defensive formation, and already on the bottom, interestingly enough, as the Colombians drive it straight at that Canadian structure there, Nat.
Yeah, look, it's great. These cameras allow us to see, and also the pool clarity, allow us to see exactly how the team set up an attack on these frees. So the live streaming and being held on YouTube means that as a coach or as a player, you can access these games anytime, anywhere, and for free. So that leads me to segue nicely, Stu, into the GoFundMe campaign. Did you want to talk it up, Stu?
Yes, sure. So GoFundMe. .com/Hobart 2017. We'll bring the overlay up in a second so you guys know exactly where to dump your dollars. But long story short, we'd really appreciate your support. There you go there. Really appreciate your support. If you're enjoying the live stream, if you're enjoying watching the competition, please chuck a couple of dollars in that GoFundMe.com/Hobart 2017 donation bin, and really support the junior underwater hockey program around the world. As you can see, the referees have called another infringement. Number 5 is going to go an obstruction call for 1 minute, unfortunately. So that is Mariana Taborda is going to spend a minute in the bin for obstruction there now.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just looking at how many people are watching the YouTube. I think it was 55,000 viewers on YouTube. If everyone put in $1, we'd be well and truly over the $10,000 goal. And this gear, this state-of-the-art gear, the underwater cameras from SpotX, Underwater Vision, they're trialling these cameras as well. So it's a first for them. Those 6 cameras, the oodles of monitors on the pool deck, and all these monitors here in the comms room, the cabling, the whole kit and caboodle, they can be used at the next Worlds in Canada and the next Age Championships in Sheffield. So get on board, dump your bucks, I like that, park your bucks in GoFundMe.
Yeah, that's right. GoFundMe, dump, park, place, throw. Yeah. Just get those dollars in there and show your support for this amazing service that this competition is providing. And it's a pleasure for myself and Nat to be able to call these games purely because the streaming and the camera setup that these guys have put so much work into just delivers us a very clear picture to be able to talk the talk all day long as we see this first half, 6 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. The Colombians actually having to do a fair bit of defending against a nice little stick candy bout shown here by the Canadian ladies there, Nat.
Yeah, fantastic. The Canadian ladies are doing a really good push here. I just called a game actually against Colombia and the American boys, and it was a tight game, the under-19s. However, the Colombians just, when we looked under the water at their fins, all the Colombians wearing Nagi fins, all the Americans wearing the longer fins. The Colombians, it suits their style of game. They actually won 6-1 in that game. Super manoeuvrable, super acceleration. They're a great fin, the Nagi fin.
Yeah, they are. So definitely check those out online or at a reseller store for the Jade fins. As you can see, the game continuing over the far side of the court. Just a quick shout out to Catalina on the live chat. Hola, Catalina. She's saying hola to us. And buenos dias, Colombia. Vamos, Colombia. Y Julie Gigi saying muy bien. Laura Suarez saying vamos, Colombia. So a lot of people tuning in from over there in Colombia supporting their under-19 girls. As the refs, I believe, are calling another infringement, just waiting on the chief ref to press that buzzer. It'll be interesting to see which way this goes there, Nat.
Yeah, it looks like Nath Whelan's up on the pool deck there, and he's our resident dad bod extraordinaire, isn't he?
He's a bit of an aficionado with the dad bod. He doesn't mind getting his dad bod out and about. You saw him the other day on Glory Days just going for a little bit of an overt strut in front of the camera, right in front of the couches there. You can see he's sort of dialed it back today. He's got a little bit of a T-shirt on, a little bit of a day glow vest. So, nothing wrong with keeping it dialed down. We don't want to get too many people excited in the early days of day 6 there now.
No, that's right. And I'm sure all the mums and dads in the crowd love it. And speaking of mums and dads in the crowd, we've got already a huge crowd in court 2, and it's just starting to trickle in for court 1. The pool deck's starting to get full of players getting ready for the next game. We've got we've got the French under 23 boys straight outside the window, Stu. So I've got just scanning the deck, and there's plenty of entertainment.
Yeah, very nice. You can see Emmy Nadeau, number 5 for Canada, getting sin bin for a minute for obstruction. The Canadian coach has called timeout. So Pierre Lados will take his team into the centre of the court there. Pierre sporting a very nice coach's green cap, having a good chat to the ladies in the Canadian camp, just trying to recage their brains, I guess. They are 1 goal down, but doing a very good job against a capable Colombian team here, Nat.
Yeah, and he'll be saying, the one big thing he'll be saying is get that puck into the goal, the trough, the bin, the net, the hole, and
the tin.
The tin. So, look, if you're watching, could you offer your suggestions for another name for our goal so we can add it to our ever-growing list of synonyms for the good old tray.
And the tray, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of names for this thing, and it can get a little bit confusing. It's so great to see so many different international names for a very basic goal. As you can see here, the Canadians are they're defending an advantage puck the Colombians are taking. The Colombians swimming it over to the centre channel, then recycling that puck back to some waiting players on the far side again. They're working it hard on that far side wall. The Canadians doing a good amount of defence, getting some good rotations in there and just slowing the Colombians up a fair bit at the moment there, Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, you can see a nice, damn good swim and clearance from the Colombian girl there, and as always, she's got heaps of support behind her. But look at that reverse tackle position. We had one of the Canadians came in from the side and just popped it through to her counterpart, who was in a reverse tackle position, which gives her the advantage because she's already half a body in front of the Colombian. So well done, number 3 for Canada. That was really neat work, and have you in my team anytime.
Yeah, that's right. Well done, Marie-Pierre Baudry, or Baudry, I believe. My apologies for the pronunciation error if I actually made one there. But number 3, Marie-Pierre, as Nat said, just really showing us a lot of defensive prowess. She was in a great position and read that play perfectly to just sort of pluck that puck on a nice little reverse curl tackle type deal, and just relieved a lot of pressure as the Colombians again, with a nice little flick and chase type movement, getting that puck back. The left-hander Canadian defender really using her left hand to its full capacity there to regain possession. Nat.
Yeah, there you go. That left hand is very handy in that reverse tackle. And once again, look, Colombia do these nice square swims just to get a bit of leg space, body space, curl it round, and then the onslaught happens. And these girls from Canada, they're wicked in defence. I wonder. I'm just going to have a quick peek at their stats. Number 4 for Canada. Nice work. The Canadians, while they were number 7 out of 7 teams down the bottom. Ooh, well, they're obviously getting something together. They've had 107 goals against them.
No wonder they're getting very good at defence.
Yeah,
they're getting a lot of practice at it. These girls are playing 2 players down off the normal 10. They're only playing with 8, so 2 subs and 6 in the water, best case for them. So every other team in the competition in their division has at least 10 players. So not only do they have 4 subs per game, but they also rotate players. So some players sit out, some players come in. So it's a lot easier for the opposition teams against Canada, or lining up against Canada, to keep their legs fresh and keep a lot of energy, whereas the Canadian girls are always doing it tough. But as you said, Nat, they're really putting on a defensive show here today.
Yeah, good on them. They had a bit of a mishap, the Canadians. On the first day, I think they had someone out, so they were down to 7. I mean, unbelievable in itself, one person a sub bench. And then I think yesterday they had a girl get a bit of a knock on the head with the puck, and she was out for a game as well. So, they've been rocking up sometimes with only 7 players. So, number 10, naughty girl, you've let your girls down there a bit. But however, Stu, I was talking to Dave Lambert in the game previously, and every single game that he's called, when someone gets into the naughty chair, they jump back in and score a goal.
Yeah, right. Well, hopefully for Madison Schmidt, that's going to happen, because she's spending the next 2 minutes in the bin for a dangerous flick. So unlucky there, Madison. Sometimes it's very hard to keep that puck far enough away from the opposition's head. So it's just the one of those dangerous things about this game. One of the things that everyone has to be aware of. You being the person flicking, you always own where that puck goes. As the referees say, I believe no goal, and then a stick infringement against the Colombians. I don't even know if it actually went in the goal there, but he was saying no to something. Canadians will get an advantage puck. The Colombians being pushed back here. You can see they're setting up with 2 in front, 1 on the side, and then 1 in the middle. With 2 sort of loitering at the back there, so pretty classic 2-3-1 type deal, Nat.
Yeah, look, I was just been interesting. You watch all the different refs, and we've got, I don't know how many we've got over here, but there's a couple from each country. They give up a lot to get here, Stu, too, by the way. We could talk about that at length another time. But I was just looking at that ref when he was calling. He calls this advantage play, and usually it's kind of like a yoo-hoo circling motion above the head, like, twirling a lasso. But this guy does a bit of an around the ear motion, which, it's like, that kind of crazy.
Yeah, like a loco type crazy indicator.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's something, if you're watching the stream, just check out all the different hand signals for the refs. They try and keep it as consistent and tight as possible, but I like a little bit of individual flair.
Yeah, me too. I do appreciate a little bit of flair. As half-time is called, these teams are going to swap over. You can see the Canadians letting themselves down a little bit with the boringness of their gear tray there. Basically just the standard pool noodle milk crate type deal. The Colombians, I'm actually trying to see their gear tray. They might all be surrounding it. I'm pretty sure they might have the same kind of thing. So, both teams could really pick their act up in that regard, and I wouldn't be surprised if that has a very positive effect on how they play out this competition there, Nat.
Yeah, look, the girls from who's got the elephant? Stu, is that?
That's the GB under 19 ladies there now.
GB have got the elephant, and it seems to be Eric. When Eric's nice and pert and his trunk's nice and erect and full of hair, they seem to go really well. They give him a little bit of a.
They give his tummy a little bit of a rug. They give his trunk a little bit of a stroke. You know, they get a lot of positive vibes from Eric. Not to mention that he's just a classy lad. He really delivers their gear and their beverages, you know, with a smile on his face. And I mean, that's nice to see. He's a very good addition to their sub bench area there now.
Yeah, he is. And we put out that challenge for all the teams to get into the city. And it's not much of it's a pretty short hike into the city. We can actually throw a tennis ball into the city from the top of the stands, I reckon. Get into the city, buy yourself an inflatable, ramp it up, get a bit of your
Because look how boring that gear tray is, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
look, the milk crate, that comes from the back of a supermarket. Stu, come on.
Exactly, and I believe they probably stole that, so the cops are probably looking for them. So, you know, not only do we have criminals in the pool at the moment, but also there's a lot less character. The US, you know, like in their defence, they do have a milk crate, but the way that they've tarted it up, the way that they're getting a little bit of character out of it, is they've got a rubber Ducky McDuck face in that gear tray all the time. So,
have they now?
Yeah. You know, so you don't necessarily need an inflatable gear.
Yeah, we've got to see him. I think they need to have it on that rail there, mounted on the side.
They just give him a bit of a rub whenever they need it. You know, like he's happy in there. He's keeping the water bottles organised. And that's the kind of thing we like to see, you know. And essentially these teams are just sort of letting themselves down a bit by not having, you know, some kind of character, some kind of lucky charm, you know, some kind of leadership, to be frank.
Speaking of the lucky charms, you know, us Aussies like to take the mickey, have a bit of a laugh at people's misfortunes, which is all in good, you know, it actually means we love you. But I was talking to the Canadian boy, the under 19, and where we fine players for something they might do, you know, during a game or before a game, and you know they have to wear a silly hat or something, or a dummy if they've spat the dummy. Canadian boys have a little award for the most valuable player for that game, and he gets to just tote a little fluffy beaver.
So if you're the most valuable player for a game, just so I can clarify this, Nat, if you are awarded by the team the most valuable player award for the game, as we can see a Canadian girl going back into the sin bin here.
She won't be getting that one.
Yeah, you get awarded a fluffy beaver to tote around for the day.
Yeah, probably a bit more hair than fluff, I suppose. But yeah, you get to have that little hairy beaver in your pocket, and he keeps you warm and fuzzy for that.
So it gets awarded to someone else. It gets passed on to the next MVP of the day or of the game each time it's called.
Yeah, that's it. So look, the world would be a sweeter place if we followed their lead. But I don't know. I like a little bit of a bit of ribbing, a bit of making sure that people don't forget when they've stuffed up. I think that's important.
Well, to put it into perspective, I guess, there's no fluffy beavers going around for MVP awards in the Australian team, but there certainly is a tradition of giving someone a big dummy wrapped in a bit of ribbon or something like that for the greatest dummy spit. And that is certainly an award that we've seen given around to people. And essentially, you own that dummy, and you have to wear it around your neck until someone else does a bigger dummy spit than the one that you've done, Nat.
Yeah, I think that's a really good tradition to uphold. Now, we've got the girl sitting on the side for Canada. Looks like she's just about to get back in. I didn't see what happened when the Colombian girl got back in, but let's see if this Canadian can get in, own the puck, swim it, lift the rest of a team and do something spectacular.
Yeah, just sort of like show us a little bit of stick candy, if you will, there, Nat.
Yep, I love the stick candy.
A little bit of sweetness, a little bit of maple syrup type action laid down on this court.
Syrup. It's syrup. It's pure syrup, pure gold.
It was a really nice steal there by that Colombian girl. She definitely showed us a bit of stick candy there as she passes the puck back to her awaiting players, and just those ladies go on a nice little outside 45 drive right underneath the sub bench of these Canadian players, and then recycle that puck on a counter line there straight across the court on another really nice 45. Canadian defence pretty much up to the challenge. They regain that possession, go for a good drive, and an infringement here. Looks like it's going to be against Canada for the Colombians there, Nat.
Yeah, these Canadian girls are the princesses of the tournament, I think. I know that, with the other categories, the under-23s and all the other under-19 teams, they all recognise that these two Canadian girls teams, with 8 aside, are going to need a big pat on the back, and a big woohoo, because they've done a great job. They don't just bring one team of 12 players, which they could have done. They've actually separated and got 2 teams of 8 and these girls will now have invaluable World Championship experience.
Yeah, that's right. It's definitely not all about the win. It's certainly all about the competition and the lessons you learn, the camaraderie you get through your teammates, and also the relationships you establish with the other competitors at the comp. And I'm sure these girls are having an amazing time. I know their coach has been very positive throughout. As you can see, the Colombians really pressing hard on the right-hand side of their attacking tray there. I do believe that's goal number 2 for the Colombians. But I must admit, these Canadian ladies are putting up an excellent fight here today.
Boy, look, I've got goosebumps, Stu. Goosebumps on goosebumps, because number 3 just scored that goal, but it's been a drought as far as goals have gone. 4 was Manuel, the captain. Oh, yep. So the Canadian girls with 5 in the water here too. You girls need to be proud of your efforts. You have kept the Colombians at bay.
Yeah, that's right. They have really done a really good job of defense, of turning defense into offense. They have put a bit of pressure on the Colombians every now and again. The Colombians certainly dictating this game more than the Canadian ladies on the attacking side of things, but the Canadian ladies doing a lot of real quality defense. They're one player down at the moment. You can see they've still got the initiative, driving the Colombians over to the near side part of the court there. As the buzzer goes again, it looks to me like a warning for... it's a warning for the Colombians. Number 1 is getting a warning. Isabella Cardoza is getting a warning for obstruction. The Canadians will take this free puck. Still one player down, I believe.
No, we're all in.
Oh, no, we're all in. Six versus 6 again. So let's see what the Canadians can do here, Nat.
Yeah, unfortunately, the girl off the sub bench was pumped and ready to go, and she sprung off the side, ready to re-enter play and blindside someone and just rip it off to goals. And unfortunately, the play was stopped for that infringement, so she didn't get that advantage.
Yeah, so it looks to me like the referees are just conferring with the poolside ref that they have warned player number 1 for Argy Bargy, and then she looked like she thought they were chucking her out, but then she started swimming there and then stopped and then came back. So as the play resumes, the Canadians doing a nice little offensive drive here down the right-hand side. Lots of Colombians on the bottom at the moment, and they just sort of nullify that Canadian attack as they're rocking and rolling that puck underneath their sub-bench there, Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. Stu, actually, you called a game yesterday afternoon that was a pretty tight or pretty amazing game. You offered a challenge, I think, the New Zealand girls, was it? Is this ringing any bells for you, Stu? I'm dead curious to know what it was.
It wasn't a specific challenge to the New Zealand girls, but what I said, having called a few games that had some serious goal margins, a la sort of 17-0, 15-0, 22-0, like, a whole bunch of very goal-hungry people in the pool doing a lot of scoring and not much else. I said, well, my line in the sand, if it gets to 14 goals difference, I was going to play a song because, in my opinion, any more than 14 goals difference is just kind of a little bit boring. So I decided to spice it up a bit. I laid it out there, and that is a standing rule now for the rest of the comp. But if a team gets to 14 goals ahead of the other team, I was going to play a song. And yesterday that happened. The Kiwi girls went up 14-0 against GB. And so I played I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston for the last 3.5 minutes of the game there now.
Oh, I don't know if that's a reward or I won't say anything there.
Are you serious? It was Whitney has a voice of an angel, and there was some serious ear candy getting laid down in those last 3.5 minutes. Like, just sing that song to yourself for a second and imagine the crescendo, the kind of moments of glory. Yeah. Imagine how much you could just put your finger in the air and just sing right along there now as you watch the competitors go.
I had a bit of a try there, and you can't sing it with your eyes open. It's amazing. There's just so much passion and emotion.
Yep, I rest my case.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you said that because I called the Canadian game where they went down 19-0. South Africa, I think, or one of the top teams, and it was just score after score after score, and I put the challenge out there just through the space waves to the girls that with 2 minutes to go, I just said to those girls, 19, don't let it get to 20. And I think they had the same, they heard my message and they held them out for 2 minutes just on that back wall, up the side, in the corner. And it's like those little mental hurdles, or mental challenges you set yourself. And the girls managed to play the best 2 minutes of their game and they kept the score down to 19.
Yeah, it's always good to see it not go to double figures. As you can see, Colombia have got number 6, Valentina Zapata, in the sin bin now. I'm not quite sure what that infringement was. You can see the Colombians pressing a good attacking advantage straight down the centre channel. Unfortunately, just sort of losing that puck to the Canadian defender as she swims it to the near side with support on the other side of that Colombian attacking player there. And then the Canadians go on a nice little swim, met on the near side court there by the Colombians. The referees have pulled up an infringement. It's going to be a stick foul or a chopping infringement, as we Aussies like to call it, against Colombia for Canada with just over 7 minutes remaining in this second half. Canadians doing a good job of answering a lot of defensive or answering a lot of attacking questions with defensive answers. And as they drive this puck up the wall, I think that's probably going to get called for obstruction unless the referees are just playing advantage. As you can see there, they are. The Colombians going for a nice little aggressive drive and then recycling that puck. But they get caught out by the Canadians. It's going to be interesting to see if the refs call obstruction, and they have. So they called the advantage initially for the Colombians, and then when they lost that advantage, the Canadians got that puck back. They called the free in the Colombians' favour there now.
Yeah, look, I'm impressed with the girls in this game. This is a really tight game, 2-0. Definitely one to be watching on the live stream. And if you're watching it on the live stream, don't forget, pop a few dollars onto the GoFundMe. That'd be great. Thanks, Romy. We've got Romy here beside us doing a terrific job controlling six different camera angles and making sure you and we get Stu and I get the best vision. And the setup's been totally fantastic. Okay, we have the cameras kicked a few times by refs or by the coaches, but our amazing amount of volunteers just get in the water, communicate with each other and get those cameras back pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, that's right. As you can see, the Canadians bringing that puck again underneath their sub-bench. The Colombians quickly retrieving that possession. And, I think that Colombian lady went for a double curl there. And then you can see another Colombian lady doing the same thing. So just prioritising possession over anything else as they do the big sort of washing machine type double, triple curl action.
Yeah, I think it's the rinse cycle. They call that the rinse cycle. Have you ever been in the rinse cycle, Stu? It's the most... You find yourself curl and then you think, I'm going to go again.
Yeah, that's right. You're like, you know
do
what?
This again.
I'm going to go a third time because this is a whole bunch of fun and you can't have this puck.
Yeah, and what you find then happens as well is your own team goes up as well because they think, well, this is great. I just want to watch this action. Yeah,
that's right. You just get caught into this little do loop of constantly turning in the one spot over and over again. You can see the Colombians pushing a nice little attacking advantage all the way to the left-hand corner of their attacking tray. Just trying to get that flick in, see if the puck pops in, and the Canadians putting in a last-ditch effort to try and keep that puck out. I think they haven't been successful. I'm pretty sure it's ended up in the tray. The referees are, unfortunately for the Colombians, saying no goal for stick infringement. So the Canadian lady's getting a little bit of relief in pressure there and a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card in the face of a serious Colombian onslaught of stick candy there, Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we could almost call that turning ability a bit of, turning candy as well. Or curling candy. Oh, there's so much syrup in this game.
Candy curl.
There's sweet, there's sugar. It's a wonder we can actually see through the water. There's so much treacle happening.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just trying to think of a Colombian sweet that I could attach to the sweetness of those curls that they were laying down in the court there.
Well, it's not baklava from Greece. It's not maple syrup from Canada. What do we have in Colombia? If you're watching the stream, give us some sweet talk.
Yeah, I think maybe natija or maybe a little bit of... just trying to think. My Spanish prowess has just left me at completely the wrong time here, Nat. So I'm just going to have to do a little bit of a brainstorm. But if anyone on the chat, Catalina or Julie Gordon or Laura Suarez, I should say, if you could please let me know on what kind of favourite Colombian sweet you ladies love to eat, then I will definitely implement that in this game as we call it here. The Canadians taking a free puck with 5 minutes of the second half remaining. And the Colombians just sort of meeting them there again on that sub-bench side for the Canadians in deep defence. A whole bunch of rock and roll going on right there between the two teams now.
Yeah, looking Colombia still on Little Boy Blue, me and you, number 2.
I actually have no idea what that means, but I'm impressed regardless as the Colombians go on a nice little attacking drive down the centre channel on a little 45. They're on the corner of the tray. The refs are waving their hands around to try and get that pull deck to press that buzzer. And I don't know if it actually went in or not. Looks like an illegal knockdown.
Oh,
and
hello.
a 2-on-1. That's a 2-on-1 confirmed. Mind
Yeah.
you, though, that ref called it without conferring with the other refs. So the
Yeah,
ref,
pretty confident.
refs are saying refs time out, and
He's yanking that chain. He was yanking it. He was
was.
doing the old truck. Burp, burp. He wanted it. Look at me. That was definitely an infringement right in front of goals, and that's going to be a 2-on-1. We've got number 12 from Canada. Woohoo, you go, girl. Against number 8 and someone else from Colombia taking the flick. And it'd be interesting to see if they go straight for the goals, Stu, or try and be a bit creative and, play around with it a bit.
Yeah, the actual, the Canadian defender, the captain, number 12, Madeline Steeves, shacking an absolute cracker of a knockdown there. Unfortunately, she was quickly met by the Colombian attackers, and they put that puck in the bin. So, goal number 3 for Colombia as we count down the last 4 and a bit minutes of this second half here, Nat.
Yeah, absolutely. Stu, just have a little look here. I've got a few of the bingo calls for the numbers. See if you can do number 3.
Oh, very nice. As we proceed into the last 4 minutes of this game, Colombia leading Canada 3-0. A little bit of cup of tea, one little flea, dearie me, you and me, goodness me, going down range here in court number 1.
Woohoo.
As you can see, the Canadians winning that strike and taking it out to the left-hand side, the far side of the court there for those of us watching on the stream. And, obviously the Colombians up 3-0, but the Canadians putting in a really good showing this game now.
Yeah, look, there's got to be a few high fives and a bit of chest bumping and some shoulder thumping after this game because, look, I'm going to get out in the pool deck and do a bit of smacking on the back as well for the Canadians because this has been a terrific game. Colombia will go away and think about this and get ready for their game against USA at 5:50 this afternoon because USA are going to be going all the way and they're only one spot below Colombia in the standings. That will be a real tickety-boo matchup. We've got someone out there. Who's that one?
Number 9 for Canada. So Alexis Snyder getting some sin bin time for, I think, a dangerous flick. So she's getting 2 minutes. Luckily for her, she had her Najade fins on, so she could easily penguin walk to those seats without too much trouble, without any pressure of or any worry of falling over, is that you can see the Canadians putting in a good defensive structure down here. The Colombians are recycling it once and then going on a nice little right-hand 45, but unfortunately bringing it back too quick to the awaiting Canadian defenders there, Nat.
Yeah, I noticed you used the term recycling a bit there, Stu. Do you want to just flesh that out a little bit? Because when you go to interview some of these players after the games and you hear their calls for certain moves, I've learned a few new ones, but I'm sure recycling's a bit new for some people listening. What are you talking about there, Stu?
Yeah, well, maybe it's just my weird brain, the way it works, how I interpret the game. But essentially, what I mean is, when someone takes the puck from a particular area, goes on a little swim, but then passes it back to where they've just been, that's what I call recycle. So essentially, they're recycling, returning the puck to where it's just come from.
Yeah, nice one, nice definition. I like it, and they're doing it well here too. So
there you go, 2 recycles in a row.
Yeah, that was pretty. That was gold. Colombia just making their drive now across the court and looking pretty dangerous in front of the goals, and their momentum has been shut down by the waving ref chopping the veggies.
Yeah, a little bit of a shutdown of the momentum there by a diced vegetable call by the refs. It does look to me like he's looking for a player to bin as well. I think Colombia are going to get someone in the sin bin here.
Swimming in every direction at the moment, Stu.
Yeah, you can see that player just implementing the one arm freestyle as she leaves her stick in front of her head and just goes for a little sort of like injured seal type swim there, Nat, with my other fin hurts, I'm just going to use the one on the left.
Yep, absolutely. Getting to that stage of the game where things are starting to ache and hurt. Yeah, look, funny enough, we haven't had much blood in this tournament. I think the only blood that I've seen was from a little boy who had a little rub on his fins.
A little rub?
Yeah, just a little rub, and there was a little bit of blood happening, and we had to clear the pool deck. And, I showed him the right amount of sympathy, but, yeah, look, Didham's little fella.
What do you mean a rub?
Well, so, we wear our fins. They're pretty tough on the old feet. You're wearing them pretty full on through the day. And,
you mean a blister?
Yeah, well, it might have been a popped blister, in fact.
Yeah, okay. So a little blister that turned into a little bit of a blood blister and then popped.
Yep, that's pretty much it. And he was looking a bit, sad and sorry for himself. But after the little, you'll be right, mate. Come on, let's
Did
get
you go over
off
there
the
and
pool
give
deck.
him a little hug?
No, I didn't want to get too close because the blood was seeping out on the pool deck. I just gave him that look, that little nod and a wink, and you be right, fella.
Just a little classic Australian "she'll be right, mate" type of body language.
Yeah, and get over it, move on.
Yeah, like grab your little hairy beaver and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Go give it a squeeze, mate. She'll all be right.
As you can see, the Canadians going on a good counter-attack down this near side wall right underneath the Colombian sub-bench there. And I wonder which of the Canadians is going to get the hairy beaver today, Nat.
Music time.
We've got 20 seconds remaining in this game. Colombia's going on a nice counter-attack. The Canadians hot on their heels. There is a big swim getting laid down in this pool at the moment. Less than 20 seconds to go. So I reckon this game is probably going to get seen out.
Yeah, nice work.
The refs have called an infringement, so it's against the Colombians for Canada. The Canadians will get advantage puck. There's only about 15 seconds remaining, so I reckon they're going to see this game out 3-0.
A few fresh players jumping in.
Couple of freshies.
Yeah, with a bit of teeth baring and gnashing, ready to have another crack. With 10 seconds to go, they'll be pushing. Losing a bit of. Just look like she's ready
it's
for the
going
end of the game.
Oh. Bit of a letdown. I thought the Colombians were going to attack and they just went backwards. Thank you very much for letting us all down here in the commentary box. As the game draws to a close, there's only 8.5 minutes until this next game comes up.
New Zealand, Australia.
NZ
Woo!
women under 19s versus the Australian under 19s. What an absolute humdinger that's going to be. First versus third. Tune in for that one. We're going to send Nat out to the pool deck now to go chat to these amazing refs. And thank you very much for listening. And we're all waiting in bated breath to see which Canadian gets the Hairy Beaver Award for the MVP today. Thanks a lot, and see you soon.